If I'm to become a social media manager in 2024, these are the things I am going to be doing differently. Do you know that feeling when you now have a couple of knowledge, you now know some things, and then you're like, if you knew this, you wouldn't have made those mistakes before. That is just currently me. Like there are so many things I know now that if I knew it then, I would have been way better. I would have saved myself from wasting my money and wasting my time. Do you get me right? So if you are a social media manager or someone who wants to become a social media manager, you need to watch this video because I'm going to be telling you how you can become a social media manager in 2024. Like the best way I feel like I would have become a social media manager if I was just starting out. So make sure to stick around to the very end of this video. I'm going to be sharing everything you need to know. So if you're seeing this video for the first time, I am Tiffany and I'm a social media manager. I talk about business growth tips and how to become a better social media manager. I would guide you, I will give you the necessary tips, I will share the hacks. So if this is what you are interested in knowing, please make sure to subscribe and also turn on my notification so that you can be notified whenever there's a new post on my channel. So now let's get into it. So if I'm becoming a social media manager in 2024, the first thing I would want to do is to get educated. Yes, I know basically people think social media is just about scrolling. In fact, if you're online, you're a social media manager, everyone feel like they know what social media management is all about. But let me tell you, social media management is not about scrolling online or even having a social media page. No, it is beyond that. Like, I mean, I don't even want to go on and on, but like, if you want to become a social media manager, you have to start from the basics and learn. There is so much for you to learn. There is so much guide, there is so much tips, there's so much strategies, there is so much for you to learn. So it's not something that you just assume that you already know. You have to get started. And how do you get started? Okay, I'm going to advise you that you enroll yourself on social media management courses. If you're thinking of like, okay, how do you do it? Do you have to go back to school and all of that? No, not really. Basically, you can be able to learn social media management online. Like, I mean, check out platforms like Udemy, check out platforms like Coursera, check out platforms like LinkedIn Learning. You can be able to like apply for these courses and learn. Some are paid and some you can actually get some free, but depending on how serious you are to get started. So, as I was saying, you really have to educate yourself, learn from the basics, humble yourself. Don't act like you already know something because that is one thing about social media management. It is so going to humble you. Don't even play. So, go ahead, learn, jot down, practicalize, try to like use your personal page to learn as well. Or you can even like decide to manage a social media page for your family member or your friends, so that you can teach yourself in that process while learning. This is my honest advice. So now you have basically gotten the knowledge. The second thing I would have done if I'm just starting out is I am going to want to have a social media page, sort of like a creator page on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Twitter. You have to choose your favorite platform so that it will be some places that you are comfortable with going all the time. So now when you have these platforms, you have to start posting on those platforms. And posting on those platforms can actually not come out as easy because probably you don't have followers, or let's say you had followers, because as for me when I started out I had like 4K followers on Instagram. So I just thought, I've arrived and all of that stuff, I'm going to have people engaging. And but guess what, news flash, people were unfollowing me. I didn't know that on social media you will be losing followers when you switch what you are talking about. Obviously before I was doing lifestyle, I was just posting, lifestyle, what's going on in my life. And now I decided to use the page for my social media management career. So many people started unfollowing me, but I was sad initially, but with time I got to understand that this is not what they were expecting. And then also with time, I started attracting the new audience, business owners, social media managers that are very interested in what I had to say. So that is how it works. So whether you have tons of followers or you don't have, even if you don't have, it's even good for you. That means you are starting from the scratch and you're going to attract the best people for your brand. Now, while posting this content, because you have gotten educated, you should be sharing your knowledge, what you already know. You might actually think that you have not gotten enough experience, you don't know much. What are you going to share? Basically, as human beings, we always look down on ourselves. But guess what? There is someone out there that don't know that thing that you call basic and would pay any amount to get informed. So always share the knowledge that you have. Do not belittle it, and you're not going to regret it. So the third thing I would have done if I was just starting out as a social media manager is to build a portfolio. Yes, basically when I started out, I didn't even know about portfolio, that it was that important. All I was just after is that now I've gotten educated, I want to make me some money. I didn't know that I was not going to get a job without a portfolio. Like portfolio was a very, very big deal. So if you don't know, I am telling you right now, you can't, I'm not saying that you can't, but like basically portfolio plays a huge role in you getting a job in everything skill, not just social media management. So you have to get you a portfolio. And how do you get you this portfolio? You might say, okay, I don't have any job, I've not done any professional job for any brand yet. I am going to suggest for you to volunteer as a social media manager to brands who are looking for volunteers, or become an intern. You're going to work for them in a space of like 1 month or two, I don't know, but like be committed, gain experience, help them, and also have something to put on your portfolio. The more you work, the more you have something to share in your portfolio. Nobody is going to say, oh, you did a volunteer job, so that means it's not valid. It is definitely valid. So do as much volunteer job as you can so you can build your portfolio. A good portfolio equals to a high paying job, and that's on period. Thank you. The fourth thing I would have done if I was just becoming a social media manager in 2024 is this: networking with others. Honestly, they don't really overemphasize on this. Like, networking is very, very crucial. If you think you're going to be a lone wolf on social media as a social media manager, then I don't think you're ready to trade. Like, you have to connect with people, you have to network, you have to let people know you and know what you do, and you also have to get to know people, because I've seen so many people that their highest paying gigs was given to them by a referral, someone that knows them. So probably someone from online, someone that is following them, a friend, or just someone that knows them and all of that stuff. So connect with people, go for events, talk to people, join communities. Even if you don't want to leave your house, you can definitely join communities and always share your input. Don't just join a community and sit down there without saying anything. I mean, sit down there virtually, but like say something, engage, add your two picks, let people get to know you, introduce yourself. You get engage yourself in those communities, because you never really know the opportunities that are going to come from those little habits. Now, the fifth thing I would have done if I was just becoming a social media manager in 2024 is this: deciding on the type of clients you want to work with. They have different types of clients. They have different niches. As a social media manager, you can decide to work with fashion industry, you can decide to work with healthcare, you can decide to work with e-commerce, you can decide to work with anything, because there are lots of niches. You can decide to work with fitness. The list keep going on and on. So you have to decide what kind of clients you want to work with, because basically you cannot work with all. And then again, so many people would advise you to like already niche down, decide the ones you want to work with. But in my experience, I'm going to tell you that you should just have a few in mind, and then while moving on, while working, you'll be able to like now decide which one you really want, whether you want to work with healthcare, whether you want to work with fashion, whether you want to work with fitness. You will then decide, because you have experienced the ones that you have experienced. You get me right? Now, basically, deciding on a type of client also involves you deciding that you don't want to work with toxic clients, you don't want to work with clients that are like this, you don't want to work with that. You have to make your choice and stand by it, because when you get started, you're going to experience a lot of things. The way they have different people in this world, that's how they have different clients. Some will empower you, increase your confidence. Some are just going to tear down your confidence. And guess what? They will make you feel so inferior. So I don't know, your choice. You have to decide. It's not every job that you have to take. So know the kind of clients you want to work with. is going to save you a very long time. Instead of just, taking every job, you have to decide what kind of clients do you want to work with, what kind of people do you want to deal with. Trust me, you're not going to regret that. Now, finally, I am going to round up right now, but I'm going to give you a little advice, which is that take your time. You have to learn at your own pace. You have to be your own person. You don't have to like copy everyone, because one common thing that happens to social media managers is that they try to become someone else. In the process of seeing so many good social media managers, you start doubting yourself, and before you know it, you start molding yourself to become who you are not. So make sure you are very cautious of becoming who you are not, or trying to copy someone. Make sure you're original, make sure you're authentic, make sure you are happy, and make sure you are continuously learning and never really give up. It might get difficult, but guess what? You are going to get to that goal that you really want to achieve. And I'm rooting for you. So if you like this video, kindly like, share, and subscribe. Leave me a comment down below if you have more to add to what I just said. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.